car does make it back properly to the road one day. It really deserves it, you know. You don't always get a second chance in life, do you? And I know there's plenty of times in my life where I could have really done with a second chance. But occasionally you do get thrown a bone, and life does give you that second chance. And you've just got to jump at it. You've got to put everything else to the side, and you've got to jump at that second chance. Welcome to part 2 of the triple threat. The rusty running Rascal. She's back. A little bit speechless, a little bit choked up in some ways as well. This is a very important vehicle to me. The sun's come out as well. Just as I pulled the cover off this thing, the sun's come out. The sun hasn't come out for about 4 days here. Wow. The story behind it, the lore of the Tasty Classics triple threat rotten running Rascal, is that when I first started, almost exactly 2 years ago, YouTube, this thing I bought for 800 quid off Facebook Marketplace, and it was green, it was rough. And then I pulled it back here, cleaned it up, got it running, and took it for a little spin. I instantly fell in love with it, but I just didn't really have like the money at the time. I was proper skint. I was trying out YouTube, you know. I was like, I want to try and make this work, and I just had a little bit of savings, and I was like, for me to go and do the next video in the next car, I needed to sell this to free up the funds to do that, you know. So I made the video and I put it out on YouTube, and it did okay. It got like a few hundred views, you know, a few hundred views. So I was like, right, let's just put it up for sale straight away. So I put it up for sale and I sold it immediately. And then another sort of week or so went past. And then I woke up one morning and again, it's just one of those amazing things in life, but I woke up and I looked at my YouTube app, and the views for this video, they spiked. They went through the roof. It got thousands and thousands of views overnight. And within a week, it had gained me 4,000 subscribers and like 100,000 views. And that blew my mind, because I'd only just started doing YouTube, and I'd tried a few things before this that hadn't worked, like the Mercedes, the Amiga, you know, all this sort of stuff, and they'd not really gained loads of traction. But then this blew up. And I had in my head that first year, I was going to work my arse off for that first year to try and get to 1,000 subscribers. And now, as I'm recording this, there's 65,000 of you. And I owe so much of that to this van and the success of that video, because that spurred me on and it gave me insight. It let me know, right, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm looking at, thumbnails wise, blah, 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 blah. That's what I needed to do to be able to carry on my dream of messing about with cars and getting paid for it. All of the comments on that video were of people saying, restore it, you should have kept it, keep it, restore it, make it better, make it nice, you know. All of the comments on that video on part 1, which is still out there and you can watch it, you know, all of those comments said restore it. But by the time those comments arrived, the van was down the road. I'd already sold it, it was long gone. And the guy that I sold it to said, Ben, I'm going to restore it, I'm going to weld it, I really like it, all this sort of stuff. So at the time I was a little bit gutted, because I was like, I would have liked to have kept it, but I just moved on, went on to other things and whatever, you know, that's just how it is sometimes, isn't it, you know. And then last week, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a comment on one of my other videos, and someone said, I think your old van's on eBay. And I was like, what? You know, is it going to be fully restored on eBay for 10 grand or whatever? But I went on and it wasn't. It was rough. And I was like, I've got to buy it back. So I got in contact with him and I was like, listen, I want to buy this back. So I bidded on it, ended up winning the auction for almost 2 grand, huge amounts of money, which at the moment, because of the tarmacking and the Capri and stuff, just don't have that sort of money. But I had to find it. And I had to buy this thing back. I couldn't let it get out of my grasp again. And then I went to pick it up and it's here. And the last 2 years, I'm telling you, they've not been too kind to it. I'm pretty sure these sorts of big holes in things, they weren't there, right? When I got rid of this van, a lot of welding hasn't been done. This welding down here and this arch has been done, but it is, I mean, that's fine. That's all right. We can sort of, you know, it's going, I mean, yeah, it's just shite, isn't it? But I can clean it up. We can put some filler on it. You know, it is what it is. It's solid enough, but really not the best welding. Nothing else has been done to the van apart from a bit of welding. This arch, they've started to do bits, and again, it's just not been carried on, and it's just, yeah, it's bad. There is another arch with it though. Sort of goes on there somewhere, but there's still a lot more fabrication that I'm going to need to do, because my plan now with this triple threat is to fully restore it. I want to fully restore this van over the next series of videos. So all you're going to see now, pretty much, apart from a couple of other little things, is this van being restored. I want to put it back to immaculate white, and then I want to cover it in Tasty Classics logos, stickers, livery, however you say it. And this is going to be my merch hauler. This is going to be my little van. If I need to go and drop some tyres off or somewhere, I can take this. But yeah, the work that's been carried out, stuff like this has been done, and again, it's pretty rough. I mean, the plate is more out from that, so it's just, again, it's just a bit annoying. I mean, it is what it is though. It's a bit of history for the van. You know, I'll do the other side better, but this one's, you know, not been done by me. You know, this side still needs doing, but also right in the corners of these doors and stuff, and I think underneath the doors, all wants welding. I think there's a lot more underneath that wants welding as well. So I think for the first episode or so, we're going to be welding. Great. In the back, one of the things that has happened is the fuel tank's been removed, and they've put a proper sized battery in it, which does work. There is life in the battery, but the fuel tank's been taken off so they can weld the arch. So I'll have to put that back on, but you know, it's just been like ripped off, things have been cut and stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, this. But this is my duty now. This is my purpose in life now, is to get this thing back on the road. I owe it so much that I need to just make it, you know, bring it back to life. This is going to sit proudly out here amongst the fleet with all of its good stuff in it. I might resto mod it a tiny little bit as well. I might put some nice tunes in there, make it a bit more comfortable, do some like interior bits and stuff, maybe over time as well. But I think for this episode, the first thing I need to do is clean it again. We've got to clean everything, really get the patio setter out on the pressure washer, and I want to get inside, outside, I want to completely get rid of the last couple of years of muck. And then I think get underneath it and do the same. Once I've done that, we can get it inside, see what it's like underneath, and make a little bit of a plan of how I'm going to sort of attack this. Because it'd be nice to get the welding done, get the fuel tank back in, get it running and driving, replace the headlights, check everything else, brakes and stuff, and maybe get it down for an MOT. I don't know if we'll get all that done in this episode, because there's a lot of welding on this thing, a lot of welding. But yeah, we'll do what we can. Sign writing, I've phoned a guy, very, very local, just up the road. He's going to come and have a look and be able to hopefully replicate these things and do all the Tasty Classic stuff, because that might take a while to happen, so I've made sure I've called him straight away. And hopefully, if he needs to get some photos and stuff before we, you know, really tear into it. Box full of nuts and bolts, which I'd imagine for the fuel tank, which is great. Battery tray cover. Fuel tank itself, which I'm going to leave out for a moment because we're going to wash this and then maybe paint it, I don't know. Engine covers, we'll wash those as well. Spares box and the metal fuel pipe, which, yeah, kind of looks okay, I suppose, yeah. Spare wheel, completely rotted out. Lovely. Did notice a load of white paint on that spare wheel, which I'm wondering if there's been some work underneath. I kind of hope there has, but who knows. The old air filter, which still hasn't been replaced, but I have ordered a new one. And that's it. She's empty in the back. Not too bad either. Could be worse. Needs a bit of a clean, but yeah, definitely could be worse. Now the seats for these, if we remember, they just sort of fall back like that, don't they? And reveal this amazing engine. Look, there's the fan belt I put on it. It's only done 8 miles. Don't know where it's been for 8 miles like, but yeah, 8 miles it's done. But I wouldn't mind sort of getting in here and washing everything, wax oil, you know, giving this a bit of a wax oil, just everything really. Cleaning the engine bay up, that sort of stuff. Oh look, there's been a plate on there as well. Fantastic job. So yeah, get in there. Oh, they covered up the hole. Do you remember the hole that you went to the toilet through? That's gone. Oh well. Maybe I take up, you know, unscrew these things, get all that out as well. Don't know, because all this is going to want painting, isn't it? I'm going to be painting the inside. How are these seats held on? Are they going to be easy enough to remove? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the seats are just held in by 2 bolts on each one and the clip at the front. So I think it would make sense to just get those seats out first. Oh, there's a VIN plate there. So it's got colour on it. Gross vehicle weight, 1,410. Nice. You could probably get... you could probably get a pallet of stuff in the back of here. Does that interior light work? Oh no, the battery's not connected. I want to see though. It's connected up. Nope. Cool. What about this battery tray? That can be removed. That's just been thrown in there. We can hoover that out. Okay. Get off. Get off. Easiest seats in the world to remove. Ooh. An engine. And you can remove that whole engine cover plate there as well, which is pretty cool. And I think we probably should do. Seat belts can stay in. It's just 10 mils everywhere. 10 mils, 10 mils. 10 mils and crossheads. Out. Out. Big crosshead in the back there that definitely wasn't standard. Oh, and there's another one here. Oh, is that a, that's a flathead. Amazing. What is that one? Okay. Well, it doesn't matter because they're coming out. I just wanted to try and get this bit of manky carpet out. But why is nothing coming out? I must squeeze. Oh, easy. And then that comes through there. Why is it all the cracking sounds happening? Okay, and get that through there. Beautiful. So that carpet is held down by these 2 seat bolt things here, so we'll get those off. Do you want that? Take it to the next Rustival company and try and sell it. Right, so I'll take those as well. Those can go in the pile. Let's put a lot of this hardware back. So this plate does come out. Shall I take this whole plate off and get better access to things? But the engine's pretty good. We sorted that in the last video, episode 1, 2 years ago. But yeah, seems fine. What about the oil? Golden, beautiful. So I'd imagine everything's okay there. I don't think we need to take that out, so we're not going to put the hardware back in though. because I'm planning on pressure washing all of this, the inside. Now, annoyingly, really annoyingly, because there's loads of stuff I would have liked to have bought for this, you just can't get parts anywhere. There's just no parts that exist for this thing, which is so frustrating. There's a bit of second-hand stuff about people breaking things, which hopefully I can get like the fuel hose and stuff through. Oh my God, is that a massive hole in a sill there? Okay, just don't look at it, it'll be fine. 10 mil, everything. Nice. Probably could salvage that. At the time when I bought this van and then I sold it again, I was just like, it needs too much work. And the thing is, as I touched on, I couldn't afford it. It's expensive to restore this, considering, first of all, it costs £2 grand. But the time that this is going to take me, you know, you've got to be earning money. If you paid someone to do this, it would cost an excruciating amount of money to restore this van. But I'm going to do it as good as I can and as fast as I can. So I'm going to do both, good and fast, which is difficult. I get that. But at the time, I couldn't afford to do anything with it. Now, I do have the luxury of being able to sort of spend a bit more time on this and turn this into the sort of project van that ideally I really wanted at the time to do, but there was just, you know, there was no chance, and it wouldn't have made particularly good content at the time because I was trying to, you know, get onto other things and see what works. But then all of a sudden it spiked and, you know, loads of people watched it, and I'd already sold it. It was already down the road. That is falling apart. That steering wheel cowling is completely falling apart. I wonder if I could give that to Ben and he could trim it or something. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? But that's the least of our worries, I think. Does all need a proper good clean though. Serious clean. What is that? It's the throttle pedal. Why is the throttle pedal not even attached? Is it in the... Oh, wow, the throttle pedal goes there, look. Cool. I was just taking it off to get into there welding wise, I think. Right, we can kind of see sort of what's going on a little bit better here now and be able to clean stuff a bit better. Not a lot to this van. Engineering's superb. These are the same as the Suzuki carries, which is why it's got a Suzuki engine in it. Little 970cc thing. That, yeah, could do with a bit of a bath. I put these on and look how dirty they are now. They were brand new 8 miles ago. And the guy that sort of bought this off me, he didn't do any of this work. He gave it to another guy to do the work, and the other guy just didn't do anything. He did some bits of welding and then left it, and yeah, it just sort of slowly started to deteriorate, and he decided to stop doing it, and then yeah, came up on eBay. Restored. Okay, so what's the plan now then? Got all this stuff out. Should we get the pressure washer out and just give it a good hit? I think so. If I do this now, these things can be sort of drying, you know, over the next, because it's October now, probably the next 2 weeks, take them to dry. And then I can get the van inside and it'll all be clean and nice. A gentleman did ask me on email if I could discuss how I pressure wash engines and engine bays, because he's just a little bit concerned about doing it to his car. And I think the biggest thing that I could say with pressure washing engine bay is I've pressure washed 10 million thousand engine bays, and I have never ever once had a problem, right? So the engine bays are designed to get water on them all the time, really, so there's not a lot that can go wrong. What you've got to avoid doing is forcing the pressure washer water through things like ECU covers where a lot of electrics are, down electric plugs, you know, just stay away from the sort of main chunks of electric bits. You know, like your distributor cap, you wouldn't sit there and pressure wash your distributor cap, do you know what I mean? Because chances are you'll get a lot of water into your distributor. So you just avoid those sort of areas. The rest of it, you know, doing around the spark plugs, doing sort of cam covers, radiators, just all the other bits, it's absolutely fine because they're designed to get wet anyway, so it's not really a problem. There's not, you know, you can do it. Another way of doing it is just with a sort of hose. You don't use a pressure washer, you get a brush and you just sort of brush things clean, things like that. Some people find that that's a little bit better, but yeah, I've never really had a problem. I just sort of crack on and do it, you know, and leave things to dry, and you know, again, they always tend to sort of work afterwards, so yeah, don't worry about it too much. I'm not too fussed about the condition of these seats, and that's mainly because I want them clean, but then I'm going to put a set of seat covers on them, just nice and easy, just, you know, nice set of hard wearing seat covers, because this is something I'm probably going to be jumping in and out with oil and crap all over my clothes. So yeah, nice set of hard wearing seat covers will be fine. It saves me having to worry about the condition of these things, because they've got a couple of marks and splits. Some people in previous videos have mentioned that I should ice blast stuff, get you know, dry ice blasting guys down here and do all that sort of stuff. And yeah, like maybe one day, but you know, it's very expensive. She's had a wash. I am just a little bit worried though, because I think I might have got a tiny bit of water on the interior. I'm sure, hopefully she's going to be okay though. Should be fine. Yeah, cleaned up. It's just going to be a million times easier to work on now, everything, and see all the holes everywhere. Cool. Wouldn't mind getting underneath. Wonder, set of ramps under the back wheels, maybe try and drive it up on the start motor. Give it a go, can't we? If this actually works, I'll be amazed. Reverse. Colour me amazed. And don't remember, folks, don't forget, sorry, that's what start motors are for. Start motors are made to, if your big engine fails, you can use the little electric engine that's attached to the gearbox. That's what starter motors are for. You can buy these hoodies and caps and things, if you like, as well, that say cool things like that on. If you go to the shop, which is in the description, www.tastyclassics.co.uk, and you buy things, and when you buy them I get more money and I can fulfill my dreams, which is cool, isn't it? Right then, dare I poke my head underneath? Well, I'm just going to lie on this nice new very wet oily tarmac, and let's have a little look. Let's have a butcher's under here. I thought the spare wheel was over there. Okay. I mean, I can't really tell a lot, but it wants pressure washing, all of it, everywhere. Interesting. Brake lines are still nice though. Right, I think I'm just gonna, yeah, get stuck in under here with a pressure washer, and then you can see it, what I've done when it comes up on the ramp later. Not got anything on me, have I? I'm frozen, cold, wet. Need to go home, get dry. I've already been busy today. I've already done taking the head off that. Don't know if you've seen that yet. Long day. I'm so soaked. I'm soaked to the bone. Tarmac's a bit messy. Lots of bits off the bottom of this van, which is what we're after, you know. Get some of the crap off the bottom, and then it's going to make our lives 10 times easier. Nice. So I'm going to take it off the ramps, push it over there so it can sit and dry until tomorrow. And then I'm going to clean all this tarmac. I'm going to go home, get in the bath, put some Enya on, and forget all about it. Okay, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Today, I thought I'd start the day. I was going to just push this in and get it up on the ramp. Say push it in, I mean drive on it, start motor. However, in here somewhere is the fuel pipe. I think, is that it there? Why is this shit here? I saw it somewhere. There's a fuel pipe somewhere, which I think is fairly easily accessible. Oh, more welding to do there, cool. And I thought, wouldn't it be good to see if we can get this thing to sing the song of its people, and see if it moves and drives and stuff with the boat tank in it, and then we could drive it in there. But also I can see if like the heaters and stuff work, and I can just sort of let it sweat a bit, you know, get it hot inside, and hopefully sort of dry everything out a little bit quicker. And it's cold, so I won't mind doing something that involves heat. Okay. Ah, where's the fuel leaking from? Stop. Done it again. That is a running rusty Rascal, even though a bit smoky, isn't it? I wonder what that is. Does want to rev up, but it is pouring fuel out the carb, which is not part of the MO. I'm going to check the water, put a load of water in it, and I'm going to run it up again and see if I can just make it idle without pouring fuel everywhere. But I think that smoke is just fuel, because it's just pouring fuel in. Not ideal. Maybe a carb overhaul is going to be needed. Cool. I think you can buy new carbs off the shelf for these though, for pretty inexpensively, because they're on a million different things. But anyway, yeah, let's put some water in it. The old Grundig still works. So the status report is there is still fuel pouring out the carb. Now, I don't want to fix this until we've got the proper fuel tank back in. The fuel, you know, and just everything's back to how it should be, because we're just running it off a boat tank, and I don't want to start messing about with things if it's just going to be something to do with the original fuel tank. So I can't put the fuel tank in until this arch is welded, because that's the reason that the arch is out, is to do all this welding. That's the reason the fuel tank's out, sorry. So what's the plan then? How you drive these. I switched the fuel pump off and it started to run really well. Maybe the fuel pump was too much pressure or something. I don't know. Okay. Who's a happy little van? Inside again. Back in the car hospital. Okay, Joseph, she's in the air. So we've got, we've got a lot of work to do, you know. It needs a lot. Where do you want to start? I mean, we're at this corner, so let's start here. Chassis is all solid. Inside the wheel arch is, until you get to that bit, is pretty much solid, which is good. That there though, not so good. And on the other side, really not so good. And you can see he started to do bits there, but again, just, yeah, it's going to need a fair bit of work there. And then this bit should be like a plate like that, so we're going to have to make something like that again. Oops, yeah, same on there, so it needs a plate over that. That side's not too bad there, but again, the chassis has survived. And then the floor and everything is nice, so we can sort of take as much stuff off the underneath as possible and then give it a bit of a paint, bit of a wax oil, whatever you want, you know. Inside here, up in there, again, needs a bit of a clean and a wax oil and stuff, but again, pretty nice. Aside from this bit here, and the bottoms of these doors, I don't know if you can see that there, bottoms of both sliding doors completely toast, which is a bit annoying. I have bought a panel off a Volkswagen, which I'm going to do something with those with, but that is completely toast. All up in there is quite nice. That's all still solid. And again, up in there, all pretty nice, pretty sound, obviously, apart from the door. At the front, you can see some welding's happened there, which is, you know, could be better, but it's there, it's done, saved me a job. Up there, I mean, you just can't look at it too hard. The more you look at it, the worse it gets. So I'm just gonna, again, fill it full of wax oil and stuff, and we'll worry about the other side. This side's done. Just hope nobody who's ever going to be a passenger in this van sees that. But I mean, I don't know who's welded this, but it's absolutely atrocious, isn't it, really? Some of the worst welding ever. Awful. The front's nice. Up in there is really clean again. So this is just all, you know, tons of wax on everything, because I want this to last for the rest of my life. All of the components, all nice, just need a big wax oil in. This needs a bit of box over it, and then obviously we've got to worry about the arch, which, yeah, all pretty bad. all in all, it's possibly like a 2 out of 10. Good job. I love welding, isn't it? Oh no, hang on, wait, I don't love welding. I don't enjoy welding at all. I'm thinking I need to get stuck in underneath. Now, I've done a lot of videoing of weldings. Like, look at the Focus video. That was a very in-depth underneath the car restoration video. With this, there's probably quite a bit more to do, and there's plenty of welding and stuff on the outside which I can show you a bit better up on the bodywork. When I'm welding, I have to wear stuff like this, and like I can't operate cameras and things, and like all the sort of, you know, all the products that I use underneath, it's all very messy, very sticky. And last time, well, when I did the Focus, in fact, I nearly ruined my camera. And welding splatter that goes on the lens and stuff, it's all a bit of a problem, okay? And I'm also concerned that if I don't just crack on with this and try and get as much done as fast as I can, then it's going to drag on. It's going to drag on really badly, and I would like to sort of get the underneath of this van boxed off as soon as possible so we can start getting the tank back on and things. So that being said, I'm going to stick the tunes on and crack on, and I'm going to show you when it's, well, when I've done stuff, when I see some, you know, interesting bits. This is quite interesting. I've just taken all 5 wheels off, and I saw something that was quite cool. Look at these. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are just solid blocks. I think they're weights. They're weights to hold the back end of the car down, to get you some traction, and to stop it probably vibrating its nuts off. How cool is that though? Little numbers on them and stuff. That's really smart. I've not really seen that before. A lot of things are out the way. I took the exhaust off as well. I think that's pretty much everything that I can get off, that I want to get off. So now I'm just going to have to get really, really mucky and just start sanding, getting all the loose crap off. Here we go again. Hell of a ruckus. I'm just totally just get stuck in, you know. Look at this side here. This is what we had off the other fella, like big bits sticking out. This is all stuff I'm gonna have to contend with. This here, which is completely, totally proud of the actual line of the van, which I don't know what we'll do with that. You know, just real big holes everywhere. Not good, not good. And this here, look at that, it's sat so far proud out. Nightmare. So now let's have a look at the arch that I've just finished, and we'll compare them. This is what it looked like before. And this is how she looks now. So I've got a nice plate down here. All very nice. Everything's either in or flush, which is what you want. All that done there. These bits again in or flush, so we can really do a nice job of those when we get a skimmer filler on it. Can you see what I mean? Tidy. And then this one down here as well, which was a bit of a palaver, but yeah, done. I've also done one inside there and that one there. There's loads to do on the other side. I've also given the chassis, just the bits that I've sort of been near, a bit of a scrub with like machines sort of up here and stuff. I've still got lots more to do, but I'm just doing, can you see like all this, I've all sort of scraped back. I'm just doing it as you know, as I can, because it's not a nice job. But that's going to do me for today, because it's loud, my back hurts, smells, everything. How do you take these doors off? I think I'm going to have to take the doors off. Do you know anyone who's got a set of good sliding doors? Because they're both pretty rotten. I don't mind travelling for a set of good sliding doors off a Suzuki Super Carry or a Rascal. I'll have a look on the internet. I don't think there is any. I saw one that was breaking one, but his doors were rotten as well. I think all the doors are rotten. We can weld them up though, it's not the end of the world, but it'd be nice to not have to, wouldn't it? Gluten Morgan, willkommen to day 3 on the triple threat. Now, it is a beautiful sunny day here in Cheshire. However, I'm not going to be able to see any of that because I'll be underneath that thing in the workshop, which is fine. That's what I signed up for. It's okay. And to make the day go a bit easier, I've got myself some mince pies and some Haribo. So everything's going to be okay. And I've also bought myself a couple of little bits of kit. There's been quite a lot of new Patreons that have signed up, which we will be thanking very shortly, whether it's on this episode or whether it's on the next episode of this van, because I can't do this without them. And yeah, I've spent some of their money today on new gloves, new shroud for the welder, and this lovely Union Jack welding hats, because I've had my welding helmet for probably 300 years and it's a bit rough. And also, I know there's a few of you that sort of go, oh, you should wear eye protection and stuff. Well, this is what I've gone for. I don't like the glasses, I don't like the goggles, they just steam up. This doesn't, this is amazing. So I bought this and I have been using it while I've been grinding. Look, I have been using it, you can tell it's all dirty. I have been using it, I promise. So that's really good. But I also got loads of stuff like a big bag full of these and just various different odds and sods. I got a new machine cut-off tool. This one here, which has slightly bigger discs and it's a bit chunky, which is a little bit annoying to get in some fine places, but the discs are a lot cheaper than my other Dremel thing that I use, so I got that as well. So that's really cool. I've also taken the door off the van. Wow! Because this morning I'm going to get stuck into this bit here, which there's welding behind needed, behind there. There's also this bit here, which is going to potentially be a bit awkward. Very, very awkward. But I'm just going to get cracking on that. I'm going to do that, you know, because there's one still on the other side. So I'll do this one, see how I get on with it, and then I'll show you when we do the other side. I think that'll be a bit easier. Taking the door off though, super simple, just one Phillips screw and a 13mm spanner. And when I was looking for how to get the door off, it was like, this bit was hard, but it's just, you take this cover off, like so, and the door just slides out. How good? Just engineering at its finest. Oh my God, is that another hole? I just keep seeing more welding everywhere. The more I look at it, it's just welding, welding, welding. But it's fine, it'll be worth it when it's done. It's gonna look amazing. And take a look at this door. The bottom is completely toast, completely rotted out, and you just can't buy any repair panels or anything for these. Thankfully though, this curved bit here, I can sort of just grind a bit of a flat line along there, and it's not too far down in here, so I don't have to make like a curved bit or anything. I can grind that flat, and then it goes to like a flat bit. Can you see that there? That's what it sort of is supposed to be. So with that in mind, I bought this. This is a repair panel from a Volkswagen T4, and it's the bottom of the sliding door from a Volkswagen T4. They don't make repair panels for this, but they do for this, and it's got this nice little lip and step, and it was only 24 quid. You know, tons of nice thick solid sheet metal there, so that's really, really good. And what I'm planning to do is to essentially cut this down to sort of probably here somewhere and put that on there, and then I'll join this bit to the back of that, and then it's just sort of one nice solid weld along it, which is going to be really good and a lot more easier than trying to weld this bit, plate on there, and then trying to weld this bit and then stitching them together. That would be a nightmare. So we're going to do it like that, and it's going to be super good, but it's probably going to take a while to do, but it'll keep this thing going for a while yet. Anyway, I've got a bit of stuff to do. I've got to get my head into this. It's going to take me a few hours, I think, this, just to do a nice job of it. And a Dickie came around and said hello as well, and told me about, he used to have a couple of these, and one thing he did say was when I welded it, I should put stone chip on the bottom when I'm painting it, so same colour, but it'd be like gloss white, stone chip, and then into the normal paint down here. He says he was just forever welding all of the bottom of this. He said he was just constantly doing it, so when he did that, it stayed better for a lot longer, so I might do that as well. And it'll help, you know, with, because the other side, we're worried about, not so much on my side, but on this side, worrying about how everything sticks out a bit, and it's not the best. If I use stone chip up to this black line, it's gonna take your eye off that a lot more. It's gonna hide a lot of the imperfections of this, which is great. So we're gonna do that as well, and it'll look pretty good. And hopefully stay alive for many, many years. Right, I'm gonna crack on and I'll show you what I've done over there when I've done it. Just gonna treat myself to a Haribo and a sit down in the sun, because look at this. I'm so proud of this. This is one of the nicest welding repairs I've ever done. Super difficult area, really, really tough area to get the shape right and stuff. Look at that. I mean, you probably don't even have to grind it back, but I am going to. Super nice all down there as well, all zipped up. But yeah, just a real nice repair panel, considering these aren't available. And I used a bit of that Volkswagen stuff. I've still got behind to do, and that took me like 2 hours, so I'm just going to crack on. But yeah, really smart. Liking that a lot. That's that then. What do you reckon? It could, yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest, but it's super solid. And this is what it looked like before. A dramatic improvement, I think you'll agree. Just got a couple of little bits to zip up, like this bit here. Just got to put a couple of bits on there. Spot weldy type jobs. This one though, on this side, is much worse. This is, there's no access, like everything's in the way. And it's the same here, it's just like, you can't get your hand in everything. It's just really, really annoying access wise, because of big metal things like this. I just need to crack on with it. I'll show you some welding when we get to the front, but for now, I just got to crack on with it. Let me get this back done. Once the back's done, oh, nice prop. Once the back's done, I'll show you some stuff. But let me just get this out of the way.
Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já limpei e arrumei o que você pediu, enquanto você tinha outra coisa que arrumar. E mesmo assim te esperando você não saiu. Falou que falta eu botar água pra esquentar. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Depois faltou cozinha, banho, roupa e bidê. Parece sempre que arruma coisa pra fazer. Já te falei que compromisso não pode esperar, mas você sempre arruma coisa pra se enrolar. Pa 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 pam bam bam pam pam pam. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já limpei e arrumei o que você pediu, enquanto você tinha o almoço para cozinhar. E mesmo assim, depois de tudo, você não saiu. E vem tá aqui agora, vai preparar o jantar. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, você continua com essa enrolação. Eu já chamei, já vazei, e você continua sempre enrolando. Eu já cansei de te chamar, já cansei de te chamar, tu sai de casa, mas você continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Continua, e continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra, mas você só continua com essa enrolação.
Blimey, that was an awful lot of welding. Would you want to see what I've done? So as it stands now, everything from here backwards is done. Nice and solid, good stuff. The doors, they are all welded along the bottom. Don't know if you can see that there. All very cool. I've got to go into it with some seam sealer and stuff and just make it a bit nicer. These bits, bit of fiberglass, and I've got to shape it all because when you shut this door, it catches on the bottom there. So I've got to pull this out, I've got to do some stuff, cut bits off, just make it a bit nicer, you know. All this has been welded, all inside there. Everything else, all underneath, is all welded and solid and superb. Same on this side, all inside, underneath, all round there, all those bits, all done, all nice. The door, everything else, absolutely solid and superb. Again, just needs a bit of sort of visual stuff on the door, but we'll probably do that when we do the painting, really, because doors are doors. It's not an MOT failure or anything, you know. Just about making it look nice. And making it look all good and last forever. And when I say forever, I mean 2 to 3 weeks. Now that that's all done though, should we do some welding? I'm not going to do anything with that other side because the other guy's done. I'm just going to cover it in seam sealer. This though, this is, I mean, I've got a lot of work to do here and I need to get stuck into it because I have been delaying it. The arch has got to go on. I've got to rebuild all of that. I've got to rebuild all of this. I've got a plate to do inside there. It's a bit, and then there's the towing eye bit underneath as well. There's quite a lot, you know, quite a lot to do there. Great. But first, let's get it back up in the air because I had to take it off because I was doing some other stuff. So the reason I've left this corner of the van till last is because it's probably going to be the most interesting to show you because it's going to be quite complicated. Now, there's where the door goes and where this arch goes, obviously the fella from before has had a go and it's just, I'm going to have to pull all this out. It's nonsense. It's complete, I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, you can't get away with that. Like, it's absolutely atrocious. So I'm going to do something, I don't know, maybe cut and put another plate in there, cut all that out and just put a plate along there. Nothing's attached on here, so I'm going to clean all that up and maybe put another plate along there, something that goes up and completes that bit. I'm then going to have to cut this bit out here and then put another plate on there, and then that bit attaches to this bit here, so we'll have to do another plate on there, so that's going to be quite big. And then build all this out to a point where the arch will weld onto it. So like here, like I don't know what he's used here, but I mean they're on, so I'll probably just clean all this up and put a bit of seam seal around there, clean all that up. But again, it's not an ideal repair, that. This bit though is pretty bad, and this is where I'm going to start first. So it's handy that this bit's been pulled forward. I don't know if you can see that there. See how it's been sort of pulled forward as the van's been towed on the winch probably. But what that's done is it's given me this space where I can slide something in. I don't know if you can see that, I can slide a bit box section in there. Thankfully, it's still roughly the same sort of shape here, so at least I know where I'm going to and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut some of this away that I don't want, and then I'm going to make a plate that goes, a big plate that's sort of, you know, a U shape that I can slide and slot in there and then weld it, zip, 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 all the way around there, zip, 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 all the way around this bit here, and then that should be nice. So this bit of the sort of outrigger, you probably should go a lot further into this really. I mean, it's not too bad though, but it's quite thick, shiny metal there. It could be worse, it could be worse. So I'm just going to put a plate, so I'm going to make a big sort of L bracket plate that sort of goes over here, or U bracket, try and get some up behind there, and then I'm going to knock this back so it meets it, and then weld this onto it. So it'll sit there and it'll all be nice and strong again. Then we can worry about all this stuff around it, but the first thing I'm trying to do is just get this bit of box section all nice. So I'm going to get some metal now and bring it over and sort of shape it and trim it as I'm going and just sort of try and make it fit all nicely. You know, you could make templates and stuff, but I prefer to just do it that way so it fits perfectly. I'll show you afterwards. Something along those lines. Just sort of like tap it all into place. Does sit all really nicely in there. And then I can clean all of this area up, sort of tap it in a little bit, and then I can get really nice weld. It does sit nicely like that, look. Get really nice weld onto here, and that goes onto these two bits, along there, and then along there. So I'm just gonna mark all that up so I can clean it up to nice clean metal and get it welded up. Not bad, didn't take me long to make that at all, and it's nice, thick, strong metal. And then this, I'm hoping I'm gonna have the ability to like hammer it round, or if I can't, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I've got to weld that to this. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if you can hear my welder. Sounds like a load of cows being taken to be milked. Why? Anyway, let's get this on there. It's quite difficult, obviously, as I explained before, having the camera on because of all the splatter. Goes on that screen, it's a problem. Goes in my eyes, it's a problem. Goes on my skin, just got to deal with it. There we go. It's on, it's nice and solid all the way round. It's like these bits there, all the way round there, all looking super duper. I've got a hole here and there, which I'm going to coat and fill with loads of stuff, but we're not there yet. All the underneath I'm going to be painting and coating and stuff with all kinds of different things to make this last as long as possible. This I've got to try and get as close to that as possible. I don't really know how to do it. I'm thinking just swinging off a sledgehammer, really. Can't think of any other way of doing it, you know. This is the biggest sledgy I've got. Is it full of rust? Maybe? Ah, yes it is. Getting very close. I can make that work. Along there is a bit larger of a gap than I'd like, but I can get something all the way along there. On this side though, you've still got a lot of that flange, which I can hammer up. So that's going to work quite nicely. So yeah, cool, okay. That's done. I'm happy with that. Super strong. Very, very nice. Much cleaner and tidier weld on this side because I could get that really close. It's nice to have the metal close together, makes it easier. Because when you've got to build bridges with your City and Guilds bridge building, you've got to add a load of stuff in, and I just thought I might as well put a massive load in because it's got to have, you know, a bit of strength to this. So I've put globules of it in. Probably went slightly overboard, but it is what it is. Bit of seam seal all over all of this will just make it look all nice before it gets painted, because I can't be asked sitting here and sanding it all down. I'm not too bothered about people seeing the welds. So there you go. Now I think I should probably start having a look at all this stuff here. It's a fairly straightforward bit to do, but it's going to cover quite a bit of real estate here. You know, it's almost the size of my hand, and my hands are huge. So I'm going to have to cut a little bit of this off, grind all this back till I get to nice solid metal, cut as much of the rot out there as I can, cut a bit of this out, and I'm going to weld it just a square over this. So it's going to go all the way along here, all the way along here, all the way along there. So all I've got to do is just cut some of this away, clean it all up, square plate, rectangle plate, and then weld it on. Super straightforward patch, that. So I said this is going to be a straightforward panel. This bit is quite nice, but this is just so thin. It's like a crisp packet. It's going to blow holes through everywhere. Haven't really got the time to be, you know, making whole new arches and stuff for it and putting it in, because it's quite a you know, it's a proper shape, that, and getting it in the right place and around here and stuff, and yeah, bit of a pain really. So I'm just going to do what I can, get that patch on, and then that'll be all nice, and hope I don't blow too many holes in this. But I mean, it's fairly strong. I mean, it's going to last for a week or two, isn't it? Still got to do all this bit up here, so yeah, is what it is. Let's just get this on and then move on to the next thing, instead of spending the rest of our lives doing this bit. All this stuff as well, I mean, I'll get with fiberglass. It's quite a funny cut, you know, shape and stuff. So I'm just going to rust treat all this, do as much as I can. This is the stuff that the last fella's done, which is, it's just mad, isn't it? Such a weird way of doing things. And then yeah, we'll just fiberglass it and it'll be fine for, again, 6 weeks. Okie dokie. Let there be light. So that's done. Super solid, out's hot, super solid patch. I'm just going to tidy this up a bit. Oh, light's dying. Cool. There you go. And then I'll put some seam sealer on the inside bits and stuff, and just under here, just try and keep it a bit more protected. Maybe rub a bit of it down, make it look a bit nicer, but it's going to be covered in loads of underseal and stuff anyway, so it should be fine, and I'll probably have to do it again in 6 months. But yeah, that's cool. This bit here, as I said, I'm going to hammer it into shape, bit of fiberglass on there, just to, I don't want to get involved with that, it's already been touched. And then tomorrow, I've got to work out what we're going to do with all of this mess. We are getting there slowly, aren't we? Please tell me, are we? So now those 2 bits are done, they're all boxed off. I think there's still a little bit to do from the underside. However, you know, we're not a million miles away, and there's a few slightly better things than I first thought. So I need to start getting this thing in the right position, and then I can start marking stuff off where I need to cut it. So like, for example, under here is pretty rank and horrible and stuff. However, this bit does go all the way up to here. So I can sort of cut it from there and get rid of all of this crap, because that crap is this, which is really good news. So, also, on here, you can see that I've got a slightly nicer cut line there, so I can cut through all of this stuff and maybe get rid of a bit of this and just, you know, sort of make that a bit nicer. And then what I'll do is, once this is in place, I'll go from underneath and I'll make sure that all this bit is sort of strong. So I'll redo some bits, put some plates over there and sort of redo that once this arch is in place, because I don't think there's as much as I thought, because the arch is going to sort of take up for it, which is really good. And I've got plenty of places to weld it in and then weld up the holes afterwards. You know, cut all this stuff out and just completely weld a new bit in there. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. It's difficult to, there's no real process. It's just sort of like, does that look okay? Is that all right? Is that going to work? I don't know. And there is another issue as well. Let me just sort of try and get this in its exact home with a bit of fettling, and I'll show you the problem we've got with the door. Nice, very nice. Okay, so if I can just get this to hold itself in place. I can't put anything over here because I need to shut the door to show you what I'm thinking about with the door. So how can I hold it in place where it's not going to foul the door? This is probably going to fall off, but as you can see, we're getting into a nice sort of place. It has to go slightly further in that way, but should be fine. Problem I have is that I've done adjustments on those 2 doors to make them shut properly. I still need to do a bit in the corner of that one. However, this door, for some reason, the driver's door is so far away. It's supposed to hit that striker there. It's so far away from that striker, and I'm not sure why. You can see evidence down here that it's been catching for ages. And again, it's really high around the top. It's like it needs some shims or something. And you can lift the door up. So again, if I show that there, I can put pressure on and lift the door up. As you can see now, there is one sort of short, quick and easy way of doing this, which I'm going to attempt in a second. However, down here it's all solid, nothing's moved. Well, I mean nothing's rotted away, sorry. You know, the hinges are all very, very solid. So I don't really know the best way to approach this. There's not lots of adjustment in them. It'd just be a case of taking that off down there and then putting shims on, but the bolts don't go from in here, I don't think, they go from behind. So it's a little bit complicated. Now fortunately this van is on a ramp. What I think has happened is over time the door has just dropped, and what needs to happen is it needs to be bent back up that way, just a little bit, and it'll sit properly. Now we have got a bit to go. Behind here where the door sits there is a nice flat surface, so what I'm going to do, if you're a bit squeamish, maybe don't watch this bit. This is an old piece of exhaust pipe from the Panhard, I think, something. And I'm going to drop it underneath this door. Right, that's pretty good. Now I need to keep this in place so it doesn't fall over, and then lower the ramp, which will in turn lift the door. I haven't really, have I got the... It's quite heavy, it's good for your back. Oh, great way to stay in shape. Ideally, I've 2 people here, so one of you can hold it all together and the other one do the lifting, but let's try and do it all on my own. Wonder if that's made any difference. It has, but not loads. It's either going to work or go catastrophically wrong. Only way to find out, isn't there? Could really do with another pair of hands for someone to just hold this up in the right place. I can see the top of the pin moving around in there, and it's the same as the bottom. They're both moving around. It'd be more extreme if I could use both my hands instead of holding the camera with one, but those pins are worn, and I can tell they're worn because on the passenger side, where the door is absolutely fine and shuts beautifully, or still probably a little bit low, but very, very nicely, these pins, there's just zero movement, just don't move at all. And that's obviously because that door has probably been the only one that gets used, and it's done 104,000 miles or whatever of being opened and closed, whereas this one hasn't. So that one closes a lot better. Ideally I need to put another couple of pins in it, but I can't sort of get those hinges off until I take these bits off, because I think they come off from this side. A little bit of a faff. So what I'm going to do is ignore it. Great. So ignore that for now. I'm going to get all this welding done, and then when we come to paint the van, I'm going to have to revisit this and potentially take this door off and sort of make it work better. My immediate thoughts is just get the bottom hinge off, maybe the top one as well, build a shim, just make a metal shim of maybe, I don't know, 2mm, 3mm thick, put it behind that hinge, bolt it all back together, and that will bring the door a little bit further out, which will make it like shut properly. A lot of cars have like shims in the doors, so that's usually how they adjust the gaps and stuff, so that might work. But I think at least when it does shut, we shut it nicely. So that's when it's in place, it does shut okay. And if I look under here, the rubber seal for the door is hitting our repair panel, which is what we need. We need it to be sitting in the right place for that rubber seal to keep us all dry. And it is, so that's in the right place. Which means we can get a little bit weldy. Exciting. So what I think I'll do now, you see how much it drops, is continue doing what I'm doing here and just cutting all of this rubbish out the way and getting this into a place where it's perfectly ready to weld in, and then I'll show you. The arch is in its final form. Well, not final, it's in its final position. I've welded it in as close to exactly where I want it as I can. A few bits I'm not amazingly happy with, like this bit here. It steps down, can you see that sort of step down there? And I just haven't got it there. I've had to cut all of that away, I just haven't got it. So I'm going to have to put a little infill there, otherwise it's just going to be a bit of an ugly weld. So I'm going to have to sort something out with that. This bit, as it goes along, that's going to sort of pull down and tap down onto that. I don't know if you can see. So that's going to look all nice. And this bit down here, again, that's going to look all nice there. I'll be able to sort of do that to a point where it just all sits perfectly. And then I've got to fill in a couple of other bits, but mainly sort of that there, and then all the stuff underneath. But at least the arch will be in the right place, so that's pretty cool. And I can get down there and stuff just by sort of pushing that in a tiny bit more. So yeah, pretty happy with how that sits. And once I've spent the next couple of hours welding it, it'll be sound. I was going to show you some like welding things, like the settings on the welder and stuff. And my welder is, I don't know if it's old, right? This Miller welder. I don't know what's happening, but it was sounding like a herd of cows yesterday, and it keeps doing it now. And I'm not sure if I'm getting the proper amps through the gun sometimes. So I just had a little go at sort of like, this is what changes, and it didn't really do much. So potentially might need a new welder. Or I think, you know, I've had that one for, well, it's Rob's welder, but it's been here for a very, very long time. So I'm going to get a new welder, and in the next welding video we'll go through it on the brand new welder. We'll get that dialed in. But for this now, I'm just going to weld it up. And while I'm doing this, if you could be so kind, if you enjoy this, jump out, hit the subscribe button, because it's 5 o'clock at night and I'm doing this now because I've been so busy with other stuff all day. I'm just doing as much as I can. I'll probably be here till sort of 7-8 o'clock at night. If you can just do me one little favour, it would be to go out and hit the subscribe button. That would be amazing if you haven't already. And while you're doing that, and while I'm doing this, let's go to a very special Christmas advert that I've been working on. I feel like I'm trapped in a prison of hair, but it's not real hair. It's like fishing line. Hello, ho ho ho! Merry Christmas! Welcome to Santa's Grotto. And I have some lovely things here for you to see, and potentially, if you're feeling a little bit flush, go on to tastyclassics.co.uk and buy all of these items, or some of these items. I don't mind, but there's some really good stuff here. What about a beanie, a grey beanie? We also do those in black. Ho ho ho! Or what about this? Why not, if you're feeling a little bit chilly, which it isn't at the moment because we're filming this and it's probably about 24 degrees outside, and Santa's a little bit warm. Ho ho ho! What about a hoodie? They're very nice, aren't they? And what about something to put your hot chocolate in on Christmas Day, such as this Tasty Classics mug? Isn't it lovely? Or even an air freshener for your sleigh. They're very lovely, aren't they? You can buy those if your sleigh's a little bit smelly, because some people's are, but I'm told it's normal. But you can buy one of those and hang it from your rearview mirror and it'll smell nice. And what about this sticker book? Santa can't move his head a lot at the moment. What about this sticker book? Oh, wow! Isn't it amazing? This is the Tasty Classics Sticker Book 2425. There's a couple of cool things about this. You buy stickers in blind packs, similar to how Pokemon cards or football cards would work, and you stick them in the book, and sometimes you get rare shinies. Oh, they are so lovely and cool. And you can get lots of stickers. I think there's 27 stickers in total in here. My arm's gone numb. Am I having a heart attack? And yes, this is a very nice sticker book, and it's taken Santa and his elves the majority of this year to design. But it's really, really cool. We're going to do one every year with all of the new cars that come through these doors and get fixed. So you can buy one, and every year you can have a new one. Why don't we check in now with this little boy? He has got one for Christmas, and he's excitedly putting his stickers into it. Oh wow, I got a super rare shiny panard. That's so cool. I'm going to stick it in my sticker book. Wowee, look at that. Oh, didn't he look excited? What a lovely young man enjoying his sticker book. That's what Christmas is all about. Ho, ho, ho. Now, let's get back to some sweet, tasty classics action. Did you enjoy that? What a fun video. Recorded that a little while ago, and yeah, it's brilliant. And I've got loads of different ones of those, which I'm going to show before Christmas. Loads of different versions, which I thought were very funny. Anyway, let's get stuck into welding this up. I'll show you, how it progresses. And yeah, get one of those sticker books. Those sticker books are amazing. I'm going to do one of those every year. And it's like one of my proudest achievements in life was that sticker book. Okay, right, let's go. Worth mentioning as well, with settings on welders, when I'm doing it anyway, I don't know if you're the same, if you are a welder, but there's no sort of exact science with it. It's not like I say to you now, if you're doing this, put it on number 3 for your amp and number 2 for your wire speed. It's just, you've got to feel it. So when I did like the rear quarter on the van, I sort of set it up for this. And then as I was going along doing the other welding, I was just sort of dialing it in, getting into exactly what I was doing at the time. One of the things you'll find is like big people who weld like quite thick box sections of steel and stuff, you'll see them and they'll their welds will all look very consistent and very nice because they're dealing with very clean, very thick metal, whereas this, the metal can be very thin, pitted, old, just completely varying as you go along. So it's just a case of changing things up and going off how it feels. So that's all I do. I just sort of go off how it feels and dial stuff in from that, really. It's quite difficult to say, use this, use this. Another big reason is all welders are different. So what might be a number 3 wire speed on mine is completely different to yours. So you do have to dial your own stuff in. And if you've just taken up welding and you want to start putting your car back on the road, the best thing you can do is practice, practice, practice. You're not going to learn how to weld from watching me do it on YouTube. You might get an idea. The best way for you to learn, the best way I learn, go out into the garage, get an old car door or whatever you've got lying around, cut a piece of metal out of it and try and weld it back in again, and keep doing that over and over again until you've made it all nice. It's about the only advice I can give you, really. And get some good gloves because it burns your hands. Whoa, starting to get strong. Worth mentioning as well that if you're sort of getting out there and doing some welding and stuff, ignore, when you scroll on Instagram and things and you see someone TIG welding a wide body kit onto a Porsche 911 or something and plenishing it and making it look like you can't tell anything's ever been welded, just unless you're getting paid $10,000, you know, per job and all this sort of stuff, just don't worry about stuff like that. They're on Instagram because it's not really real life, you know. It's just, that is just something exceptional to look at. It is exceptional. You have to sort of be very realistic with what you're going to do, otherwise you're never going to do it. If you're just doing a car that's a bit, let's just get it on the road, you know, this sort of thing. You know, this is a van that's, you know, probably not very expensive, and you just want to get it on the road. Do a nice solid job. Make sure it's, you know, as good as you possibly can. Doing things to the best of your ability is always good, but don't run after the guy on Instagram taking a Porsche wing on. It's just, you're setting your sights well too high. Just be happy with what you can do and your own job, because they are a bit frustrating, because those people who don't know anything about welding and have never done it will expect this wheel arch to look like that Porsche wheel arch, and the two very, very different things. That one wheel arch might take them an entire day to do, or 2 days to do, or 3 days to do, and everything matches perfectly and lines up perfectly and everything. In real life, it's not like that. Okay, cool, carry on. Okay, the arch is super solid and in the van, which is exciting. Obviously still got some bits to do, and then bits to do under there, which I'll just sort of get those boxed off and show you. I'll try and fit those in tomorrow. I've got a few other things to do, namely that thing there that I'm hoping the head's going to be back tomorrow so I can get that moving. But yeah, this is exciting. I have rubbed the car like I'm doing now, but with an angle grinder, and yeah, all nice here. Can barely even tell, which is great. This bit here is going to get a skimmer filler, so we'll just put that over there just to sort of bring it up to this sort of shape, make it all nice down there. This bit again, it probably doesn't need anything, but we'll get a skimmer filler as well just to make it a little bit nicer. Down here again, probably a tiny little skimmer filler when we come to actually paint the thing, but not bad at all. Got to make this look a lot better though, do a lot more work on this, so yeah. But for a job that was, you know, sort of making me go, oh god, when am I going to do this arch? From that to this, it's pretty good going. It's probably another day's work under there, which I'm just going to crack on with, and I will show you afterwards. And then that is all the welding for this van done. We've still got loads more to do underneath. Big, clean, paint, underseal, fill, fiberglass, just loads of bits that we're going to need to do underneath this thing before it's sort of ready for the rest of its life. On the road, on the tarmac, outside Tasty Classics HQ. Thought I'd just show you this bit here. This is where that hole was, which is all cool and all nice now. Gonna get a load of seam sealer and stuff on there to make it just a little bit better. Could spend another 10 hours on that, couldn't you, really, trying to make it better? But it is what it is. And there's a lot more to do on the van. Underneath here, more welding. So this is the one that fella put on, which is just, I don't know what it is. It's a bit of an old fridge or something that's just sort of been thrown up in there. This was sort of like double skin, so the floor meets this, so this has got to be welded as well. I can't just leave it like that. So my plan is to try and cut off the majority of this rubbish and just essentially extend a plate from along here just all the way to this good bit of metal here. Or I could even go to this bit of metal here, which is the new metal, which is going to be super solid. So I could go all the way from there to there, which would be cool. So one big plate, across that, and then I'm just going to do little L plates from these bits here, and then a big plate covering that there, and I think that should be it. This is welded from the inside just along that seam there, so I don't need to worry about that. That can just go with seam sealer. I'll probably cut that off there as well to make it look a bit nicer. Doesn't need to go all the way round. And that's probably it. That was fun to do up there. Didn't enjoy all the bits of welding that was falling into my eyes and ears and nose and mouth. That was all fine. So I'm still going to do this bit. It's worth mentioning as well for any eagle-eyed viewers that I can get, I'm going to burn my fingers showing you, but can you see my fingers there? I can get behind all of this. So what I'm planning on doing is filling it with like primers, paints, all sorts of cool stuff, which I'm going to show you afterwards, which I'm going to get, and rust converters and all that sort of stuff, because the whole thing inside there just wants completely coating. So we will do that to keep it a bit better, and all this is going to get like a stone chip on it as well, but that is so much better than whatever the other fellow was trying to do. Physically and emotionally, bit of a mess. We welded up, whole van's welded, everything. My back is ready to... Do they do those machines where you can lie down and they sort of stretch your back out? That'd be quite cool. Might get one of those. I'll show you. It's not pretty. It's got a bit of dressing and stuff yet, but it's all good. So you can see these bits here where I've gone from behind, just round here. This one's been done, super strong. This up here, super good. Ignore that bit there, that's supposed to be like that. And yeah, it's all great, isn't it? Obviously above, in there's all done. All the rest of the van's done. Just got to worry about it lasting now, so lots of coatings, lots of stuff. You know, do my best. It's, you know, it's not going to be driven much, this van. It kept on tarmac, it's going to be fine for a while. Door's going to hit my head. I'll move. But I think for now, I'm going to have a big tidy up. Lots of bits of metals on the floor and stuff, lots of rubbish everywhere. Big tidy up, and then I've got some other work to do elsewhere, and I'll revisit this when I've got all the products. So I'll see you in a few seconds. Oh, hi there. It is a few days later, and I'm waiting to get the time, which is hopefully this afternoon, to get down to the paint place to buy all of the lovely items that I'm going to use to cover the bottom of this van and the sort of just uppy bits, just to hopefully make it all nice and ready for painting, and all the other stuff ready for bolting all the bits on, and you know, just I'm waiting for some stuff that I haven't got right now. But what I have got right now are these. Why so much sellotape? Oh my God, it's going to be like brand new. Say hello to your new eye. Do you like that? It's going to be good. I think you're going to look really smart. How cool. So I thought I'd do, while I'm waiting, I'll do a couple of bits of things that I have got. Because what I would like to do by the end of this episode is to get all the underneath all coated and just looking all smart and ready to go. So I don't really have to do much underneath there again. Get all the fuel tank and everything back on, get all the bits back on, the exhaust, all that sort of stuff back on, headlights, rear lights, and then drive it down for an MOT and see what it needs. You know, if we can get this thing down for an MOT and it comes back and I've got a little list to work with, then in the next episode we can concentrate on getting that little list done and giving it the paint, which is going to be a huge undertaking on this thing because there's not a single straight panel on it. And it's all panel. There's no like windows and things, it's just all panel. Great. And yeah, so, but the welding stuff is out of the way, which I'm still really happy about. Still lots to do though. I'm gonna try and remove this whole thing, but I can see these screws are, oh my God, they're in there. This is not gonna go well. Oh my God, that is in there. Okay. Cool. I don't think I need to take this off to take those off, but I'm going to need to take this off eventually. So we'll give it one of those. Is that held on any other way? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Much better. These screws look much newer, which is interesting, isn't it? How do you... Oh! Not too bad behind there, looking all right. And that, I think, is the door hinge. You know, I was saying we need to get to the door hinge. I think that's it there. But this is pretty cool. No big holes. I'm not going to clean this up or anything now. I'm just going to literally put the headlight in just to make sure that's all right and stuff, and then put it back together. Because all this we're going to take out again when we paint, and we'll just sort of sand all this bit here, and we'll just mask the headlight off and, you know, paint down there, which is cool. But let's get this thing out. How does it work? Like this. Ah, easy as that. Okay. You looking forward to your new eye? Be able to see better then, won't you? That is in. So let's go for one of those. And one of these. Is there a bulb in there, or is that just a bulb holder? Comes with a bulb. Tidy. Pop that back in. That's all good there. And then, oh, shiny. Oh yeah, so that slides in there. That slides in. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Whoa. Showing off a bit now. Do you talk to your cars while you're working on them? I don't all the time, but for some reason I am with this one. Oh wow, it's a different van. I'm going to do the other side and then I'll show you. New eye on the Rascal. That one does look slightly darker, but I think it's just because the light's coming in and shining on that one. But yeah, they're both changed and they look amazing. And it's got a nice new happy face. So pleased with that. I have got rear lights to go on as well, so I think while I'm doing these, I might do those. Just because this one's gone all sort of snappy here, look. You know, bits coming off it. If I can't fix it with this very old Heiko screwdriver, which came from a BMW, I just don't want to do it, you know. So these are sort of new old stock, which I managed to find. You can see, tell by that fact that it's falling apart. Very hard to find like rear lights, these. You can get the sort of more modern Chinese copies, but they're slightly different, whereas those are nice new ones. How nice, swanky. Right. Oh, I think I'll change a couple of these bulbs as well. When I come to paint it as well, I'm going to be able to get right in there with any sort of anti-rust stuff and just really fill it up, fill the van up, you know, which is going to be good. Definitely a new one in that one. It's gone all black around the edge. Okay. Oh, wow. Wowie. Restoration in progress. Nice. We are like real life again. Really love to be able to recreate this as well. I'm hoping when I see the decal guy, the sticker guy, maybe he can take a really clear picture of it And because I've looked online for this logo, for this, I just can't find it, but maybe take a really detailed picture of it and kind of just turn that picture into a sticker. I don't know. I really like it though, so I'd like to keep that. I think it looks cool. Bedfords are cool. And yeah, there we go, all in. Both sides. Very smart. This is what roughly 400 quid gets you. It's a lot of money. And this is how we're going to go down. It goes down a thing here. So let me show you. We have ferro zinc, which is a water-based rust converter. So it's a bit of an oxymoron, water-based rust converter. Anyway, I've got 3 bottles of this because the majority of this van is made up of rust. Once I've done that, we then move on to the zinc weld-through primer. Now this stuff's great. I find I use it because it just sticks really well, specifically to bare metal. Bare metal, you always want to use a zinc primer. It's just the best. And if needs be, you can weld through it as well. But a good zinc primer on bare metal, superb. I'm also going to use that on a lot of the stuff sort of round here, just to tidy everything up. Before we sort of paint the van, I just want to sort of tidy everything up before it goes down for its MOT. Once that's done, we then move on to these 2 things. Now these are both seam sealers. So you've got a seam sealer that goes in a gun and the seam sealer that you brush on. And I'm going to use these both for sort of different parts of the van. This specifically for the bottom of the doors and where sort of some of that other guy's welding was. Then, once that's all sort of cured and gone off, we'll put a bit more weld-through primer over this, just to sort of help everything stick to it. And then stone chip white. Now this stuff, I'm going to see what it looks like, but it's mainly for inside all of the wheel arches. It's going to go in there and hopefully it's going to look good. When that's on, I'm going to get the fiberglass bridging compound. This is just sort of not a full big fiberglass kit like I've used before. This is just like filler, but it's made for sort of holes and stuff. So I'm going to use this on the doors and a couple of bits in the corners and things where it needs it, just to sort of make that look a bit nicer. This stuff, just normal body filler. So I'm going to be using that not so much for underneath, but more for sort of when I get into any sort of big parts of the van that need it. But that's also what I'm going to be using this for, which is probably going to be a little bit nicer just for the small little... Every panel's got dents on it, so it's going to be nice to just use that. Now, here is the paint. I've got 2.5 litres of 2K, which means it's got the sort of the gloss, the base, and the sort of hardener and stuff in it. It's 2-pack stuff, but you do put hardener in it. I don't know if it has... I think it has got some hardener in it, but you need to add this. And this stuff is fast hardener. Because I haven't got a booth, it's just better to get a fast hardener onto this just so it goes off a bit quicker. This is a very old, very, very old tin of off-white, which is the same sort of stuff. It's just a gloss off-white. And what I'm thinking of doing is using up this, because it's just sat in the cupboard, for everything underneath the van. So painting all the underneath of the van with that off-white. I was going to originally use it for the wheels because the wheels are an off-white. So I don't know. We'll see how much it takes. I might even take the wheels off and do them because, I mean, they just need a bit of sort of wire brushing and stuff. And they'll be ready to do. But this side, a fair bit worse. So I might do the wheels at the same time. Haven't quite decided yet. See how long everything takes me. And then once all that's done, it will be the case of building everything back together and taking it down for a test, which shouldn't take too long, fingers crossed. And I've got everything I need for it, I think. All of today is just going to be scraping crap up from underneath, so... Hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have scraped all the crap off and I'll have applied the rust converter, because that, you know, it's nice to leave that overnight to really sort of set before you put the primer on. So if I can get that done by the end of today, I'll be happy. And then tomorrow, just a case of the painting then, which is much nicer, much cleaner. These tyres are old and full of cracks, but, well, they're not that old, but they are full of cracks. I wonder if they'll pass an MOT. Just annoying when it comes to painting. It'd be nice to just sort of not really have to worry about masking them and stuff, but okay. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward to paint though, I think. They're not in bad nick at all. Nice, nice, nice. Don't actually look too bad at all, do they? These wheels. Wouldn't take long to sand these down, so I think I will paint these before they go back on. Hopefully. Should have the time to do it. And yeah, they're all same tyres, these Westlakes, and I think I did date code them, and they were 2007. 2507, 25th week of 07, I think that means. So, they, you know, could be worse, but yeah, see how they get on. All works so nice. Got a feeling the MOT is going to fail on these brake rules, so we might have to get some flexies for it, probably in the next episode. But the brake pipes look okay-ish. I think it is just the flexies, but don't mind doing that. New set of flexies is fine. Springs and everything look good. But yeah, all this stuff I need to give just a scrape back. I'm going to do all 4-wheel arches first. Just rub everything down, scrape it back, and then rust converter all over this. Just rust converter over everything, and it'll turn it back to something like this, which was just a bit that I had left over, and I sort of put that on there. But you can see, I don't know if you can see it in there, it's probably not the best, but yeah, it turns it from that kind of brown to sort of black like that, and just slows it down, doesn't stop it, slows it down. I mean, there's, you know, you could do loads more. It'd be nice to get it back to bare metal, but I think if you did get it back to bare metal, it'd probably be about 1/10 of the size of when you started, because every sort of bit of the car's got chunky bits of rusting. All of the sort of leaf springs and stuff, I'm just going to leave all of these. Everything that's sort of bolt on, bolt off, I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to do anything with, because it's sort of, you know, they are what they are. I'm more interested in the longevity of the band. But if anything goes like these are replaceable, so it's not the end of the world. More all this sort of stuff, really. It's got to look dead smart once it's got a load of stone chip on it. www.patreon.co.uk/tastyclassicsuk, something like that. I'll put the actual link up there. And yeah, I'm going to thank all of the Patreons. There's been a few new ones since we last did this on, I think, the Nova episode. But I'm going to thank all of the Patreons, because there's a lot of you guys, and without you, I'd be struggling, wouldn't I? Yeah, cue the music. So, status report is I've been around with the zinc weld primer just on some of the underneath the stuff that I've sort of cleaned off, which wasn't actually that bad because there isn't as much flaw as you would have thought, you know. But I have got to wait for the arches to dry with the what's it called? The zinc weld through primer said on the bottle, don't breathe it in. But I didn't read it properly. I just read breathe it in, so I've just been breathing it in as I've been doing it. Now I can sort of smell colours. Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to crack on, wait for that to dry, and then bit of seam sealer, a bit of other stuff, and then it is time for the white stone chip, which is going to be superb because that's where the real sort of transformation happens. Exciting. So I put some of the seam sealer underneath, but just like, you know, where that hole was, to just sort of like stop things, water and mud living inside it and rotting it out. So that's all cool. I've sort of done that all over, and then just in there where there's little gaps and stuff, I've just sort of taken care of that. Not the prettiest, but I don't particularly care. All nice and solid, and that's the main thing, you know. We'll leave it up to the MOT man. If he spots any more welding that we've got to do, then we'll do it. But I think, you know, I'm not an MOT tester, but I think that's pretty good. I need to drop it down now and do the bits on the inside with seam sealer, and then all I can do is leave it overnight. I can't do anything more because I want to sort of primer over the seam sealer and then put the stone chip on. But pretty nice so far. So yeah, just see like down here, I'd like to just give that a run with the seam sealer and sort of around there and stuff, and just try and tidy that up a bit really. Same on my side as well, but mainly along here and round there and these bits. I wouldn't just mind putting a run round there. Could leave it, I suppose. I mean, it's not too bad. At least it'll show the MOT guy that, you know, it has actually been welded and not just sort of... anyway, so yeah, that's probably just going to get a skimmer filler, so I don't really put any seam sealer on that, but I might just give that a bit of a hoover out inside there now, hoover all this bit out, try and make it a bit nicer, and then spray a load of the primer in there, just to sort of stop it being so rusty, bit of rust converter and stuff. Really slopping this stuff about, you know, but it's going to be good. Slop all this stuff about, bit of primer later on, and then yeah, I'm probably going to go for stone chip in here, I would have thought, and then put some stuff over the top of it just for a bit of longevity, because whatever it has been covered in the past isn't just paint. It's a bit stronger than that because it's obviously a lot of wear where your feet are, so we might just do loads of different things. Anyway, nice. Seam sealers in. It's just, again, to cover the slightly dubious welds, not by me, of course, my welds are lovely, by the last guy. So they won't sort of just, I don't know, hold water, but hopefully MOT guy is going to be happy with that and not want to sort of go digging. And then, yeah, same on this side, just a nice run down there, so that's all happy days. It's going to look fine once it's all painted. It's going to be white, painted white, so it's all cool. I've just got to wait for all of this to dry and set. And then hopefully tomorrow we can do some actual paint. And that's the stage where things start to look better instead of starting to look messy, which it has been. So I'm excited. I'll see you in the morning. Bonjour, je m'appelle voiceover Ben. I came in on Saturday without any camera gear just to crack on because time is ticking away on this project and I wanted to just get some jobs boxed off as fast as I could, really. So as you can see here, I prepped all the wheels, got them all sort of sanded down. I'm just starting to paint them now. Got a nice bit of the old sort of English white to go on those, which is a slightly darker, creamier white and off-white, which is pretty cool. And then I did the first layer of stone chip on the van that you can see here, which is pretty good. I've got to paint the bottom of the van in the white and then a little bit of black, just covering up the bits of white that have gone over the bits that I don't want to be white. And then, yeah, that's sort of, you know, the bottom of the van done then. So it's all very messy doing all this. So when that's done, I'll show you and we can have a look at what's sort of been done to the van, and then hopefully we can start getting this stuff bolted on. But yeah, all quite messy and going through a lot more stone chip than I thought I would as well. These things have turned out so well. Absolutely glorious wheels, and very faithful to the original colour that these wheels would have been. The wheels would have been off-white, while the body was like a very bright gloss white. But they look absolutely fantastic. Love them. Really pleased how they've come out. Under here has also had a sort of a nice going over. Looks pretty good. Not a sort of amazingly detailed job, but just trying to make it look a lot more presentable and have a lot more longevity to everything, you know. A bit more hard wearing, a bit nicer. Stop it rusting as fast. I just did a quick experiment here of what the sort of, this is with the off-white paint as well, so it would actually be gloss white that I'd do this in, but painting over some Schultz, some of the stone chip. So I think it's really nice. I kind of like it, and I'm thinking of going up probably to sort of this door line here really with that, and just make my life so much. I just haven't got time to sand loads of it, and I don't think I would need to if I did this. And it would mean that the job that this guy did on the welding wouldn't matter as much, because it's all going to get stone chip all over it. So, you know, it's not too much of an issue that it's standing proud, because the whole thing will come out a little bit with the stone chip, and it'll just last a lot longer. So yeah, I'm going to do that once I've sort of sorted the doors out and stuff and done a bit more on that. But yeah, that'll probably be when we do the body work that I'll do all this, which is not going to be in this episode because we're running out of time. What I want to do now is get the fuel tank over and just give that a bit of a clean up, bit of a black spray paint, and get that essentially ready to slot back up and have a look at what fittings I've got for it and pipes and all that sort of stuff, and just sort of get it ready to go home. But I have got to do a load more stone chip just underneath and in the arches and stuff, but I'm waiting for it to arrive. So I'll do the fuel tank now, and hopefully that'll be here soon. The first problem I've encountered with this here is that when the guy took the sort of funnel bit off of this, he must have like thrown it in the bin or something, because it's not here, it's not in the van, it's not in any of the stuff that I got with it. It's just such a ball ache. I just need that one component. So I'm now probably gonna have to go on the internet, find someone who's breaking one of these and try and get them to, I don't know, send it me. But that could take ages, and I need that. I could potentially drive it without it, just by sort of tie wrapping it into place and maybe sticking something on it just to stop it, you know, fuel flying out, but that is not ideal. Anyway, I can still put the tank back together. Over here, I've given it a bit of a sort of rattle can rebuild. It's looking all smart, just with stone chip, really. I'm gonna cut this bit off, get rid of this Jubilee clip, put this other one over this rubber pipe because it's a little bit too big, and a new Jubilee clip on that. So you've got 3 pipes here, 1 pipe there. Very easy to spot. You've got 3 pipes there. They're all just going to find the right home because they're all sort of, you know, still in the same place. And then this bit connects to that bit there, and then goes through the fuel filter, fuel pump, and this is where it picks it up from the tank. So that's all pretty self-explanatory. I can do all that. This is the plug for the fuel sender, which I don't know if it works or not, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Either way, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change all of these pipes. So see how they've all got splits in them and stuff? Quite a lot of them have got splits all over the place. So I'm going to change the fuel filter, we'll put brand new fuel filter on it, all new pipes. I haven't heard this fuel pump work for a while, so I might need to change it as well, but whatever. So I'm going to change all that, put the fuel tank up, and then that's job done there. So after that, it might just be a case of trying to start the bloody thing and seeing if it runs off its tank, which would be really good and doesn't, you know, pour fuel out the carb. Cool. Can we look at these wheels again? Aren't they just the nicest thing? Nicest bit of the van, this now. I was just about to do the fuel tank, and then my stuff arrived. And I just want to say, because I've just done a bit of it now, this is a wicked product. This is amazing. U-POL Gravitex Plus. Here's actually a clean bottle for you to see. Wow, I'm well impressed. I just tend to just stick to whatever they've got on the shelf, really. I don't tend to sort of go, oh, can you send me this or can you send me that? But from now on, I don't want any of this. I want this. This is so good. I'll show you under here all properly when it's done, but I mean, this thing is going to be bulletproof for a very, very long time. It's, yeah, it's really good. And it's now made me think, well, why don't I get the bottom bit of this van done? Because I've got time on my hands at the moment, annoyingly, because I'm still waiting for other stuff. But this has got to go down for its MOT, it's got to go on the road. There's only primer on it. Primer can be porous, so it will rust. Water will cause rust in primer, so you shouldn't leave things in primer. You should get a coating on them. But that's all it's got on these bits is a primer. So I thought it would be a better idea to get this done. And I'm just sort of trying to work out where it would be okay to. So like, this is how far the van's going to be down. So in reality, you don't really look sort of below the black line, and it would just save me so much time with all this nonsense here if I could just do a quick skim of fiberglass filler and over the bottom of the doors, round here and stuff, do all the way up to there with the Gravitex, and then just paint it. And I think that's what I'm going to do, which I think will just look amazing, but I don't know. I really hate people like putting like Raptor bed coating on the cars and stuff like that. But usually cars have a bit of stone chip up the sills and stuff. But on this, there's not really any sills, so it's like, where'd you go to? And I just think it'd save so much time if I did it, because I could do that now. I could do that today, mask it all up, fill it, Gravitex on, and then it'll be so much better to drive down for an MOT. And I think he would just look at it better, you know, if it looked like that. And then when I come to do the bodywork, I've only got to do the bodywork down to there, which again would be absolutely superb and would save me tons of time. Okay, I've talked myself into it, I'm going to do it. When you're doing black stone chip, it's less like visible on the eyes. When you do white though, it's a good job this hoodie's full of holes and stuff, because it's in the bin after this project, isn't it? And yeah, it does tend to go everywhere. There's actually quite a lot of it all covering the window of the office. Don't know how that happened. Anyway, this is my line that I'm going to. I've put some fiberglass sort of filler on these bits that were a bit sketchy. I'm just going to go around now and see these bits here where we did MOT in a can on 50 years ago. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's really coming round, isn't it? The whole, look at that bit. Really coming round, this thing now. To my way of thinking. Look at, it's just like, yeah, some rust there. Nope, not anymore. Deleted. Rust gone. Smell you later. Should probably have dried this properly first, but anyway. Look at this. Now the only reason I'm doing this is to maximise my potential selling chances when this thing goes live on Facebook Marketplace later on tonight. Because I think I've made the decision, and the decision is that even though I would like to spend so long restoring this thing, I've got a lot of other vehicles to restore. I want to do a lot more of these resurrections, and I think it would be best if I let someone else take over. And I'm going to put a bit of this over just to keep that all nice, and then a bit of this, which is just like a finish filler. So using this because it's super quick. It dries very, very quickly, and it's very, very easy to sand, so I can just go afterwards and it'll be done, which will be very cool. Tiny little hole there, I'm going to grind back as well, just fill with a bit of fiberglass. And yeah, and that side of the van's going to be done. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. On the inside of the doors and stuff, when I do the painting of the van, I'm going to take the doors off and I'll dress them all up on the inside and stuff. And I have got big plans for the inside of this van with Aled's help, Aled who is a joiner. We're going to do some fun stuff on the inside of the van, which I'm excited about. But we'll get into that on another episode, because this one, it's the longest one in the world. Anyway, right, I've got to do this on the other side, do these bits, and then it is time for the stone chip on the outside, which is... You nervous? I'm not nervous. Why would I be nervous? Run 1,000 trees. I have also just noticed this massive dent here. It's unfortunate, isn't it? I'm going to grind that back and build it out a little bit with stuff, because, yeah, with the stone chip, it doesn't need to be 100%, but it could definitely do with being more than the 1% it is now. Also, if anybody's got a bumper lying around, rear bumper for a Bedford Rascal, let me know, because that's going to be a right ball ache to fix. It's right in the corner. So if you got one, that'd be cool. I'll buy it off you as long as it's not like 500 quid, which so many of them are. Right, okay, more filler on this side. Just some light panel beating. Problem is, whoever's built this thing here has put this massive elephant's foot on the end here that sticks out, and it's hitting this when it's shut, so I'm going to have to put a little bit of a... That's what fiberglass is for though. Creativity. Let's be creative. Nice bit of filler across those. Is there anywhere else? What about that little bit there? And then I got home and he managed to put the whole thing in his mouth. Mental. Yeah, that's quite nice there. Still got a couple of little bits to do there as well, and there and there. And this bit there, and that bit there, and all that bit down. All the masking's on. It's looking okay. Fiberglass filler. This gold sort of fine filler stuff that I'm just sort of having a bit of a go at down here. I could have just used the normal stuff, which is cheaper, but there's little dings up here which I'm going to have to sort of tap back with a hammer and then put a light skim. So I want to have a bit of a play with that, because that's what I'm going to be using for that sort of stuff, because it's covered in it. Loads up there. Anyway, fiberglass fillers on, normal fillers on, masking's on. So all I'm going to do now is wait. I don't know, I'll do something else for a bit. Half an hour or so, let all that go off properly. I'm going to get the sander and just a very sort of quick sand. Doesn't have to be crazy, you know. I can just get sort of 120 on it or something, and I'll use the Gravitex all over it, leave that to go off, and then we'll get the gloss white on it, which I think is going to look superb. It's going to look really, really good. And I need to do a bit of gloss white in here as well, because that Gravitex stuff, it is really good, but it dries very, very matte. So you need to paint over it. But it does say on the bottle, over paintable. So, guess we'll be doing that then. Sometimes faster. Nice. I'm just putting a bit of panel wipe on just to sort of clean this side up. I haven't sanded the other side yet because the fiberglass is still a little bit sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this side. Well, not going to paint it. I'm going to do the stone chip on this side, just to see if how much I've sanded there is enough, or I need to go more, and go less, or whatever, and then I can do that on the other side. But I'm excited to see what it looks like. Don't know how sort of well it comes across on camera, but once the stone chip's on this, I think it's going to look pretty mint. And what I've managed to do is blend in. Do you remember that weld? It's so stuck out. Same here. I've managed to blend these in as much as I can. There's still a little bump there, but I'd have to build all of this up with filler, and I just don't really want to do that, or cut it all out and do it again, which again, don't be ridiculous. But all these, you know, it's all nice in there. It's going to look good. I think we'll get away with it. And again, just sort of blended it in as much as I can, and I think it's going to look absolutely fine. But there's only one way to find out, isn't there? It says on the bottle that it wants 3 to 5 bar to spray it. Just been using this for the sander, so I've obviously turned it up to max. So I'm now going to turn this back down to 3 to 5 bar. Hopefully it'll come out nice. We can paint straight over it. It's going to be great. Okay. That's 4, which is almost exactly 3 to 5 bar, isn't it? There it goes. I'm going to do a couple of coats of this. I'm just going to go on lightly first, leave it for a bit, and then do more. And just build it up. I'm already absolutely sold on the idea. I mean, just look at that. Already, you'd barely tell anything was up that arch. It looks absolutely mint. When it's the same colour as the rest of the van as well. Yeah, happy days. Right, okay, let's do the rest of it. Not only has this saved me about, I don't know, days of work in prep, well, maybe not days, hours, long time in prep anyway. That means I can spend that time on the bits that, you know, above eye line. It's gonna stop all of the sort of stone chipping and the bads. It's just going to wear so much harder, and it's going to keep this van on the road for ages. Buzzing. Right, I need to sand the other side, do the same to the other side, show you when it's dry, and get some paint on it. Really starting to come together, this thing, isn't it? Just waiting for some of this extra little bits of filler to dry, just you know, making it nice, The dent on the back is looking really good as well. Really pleased with that. Anyway, I've changed all of these pipes with all new pipes. This one's got some overspray on it. That's cool, isn't it? All of these pipes, this is the fuel pump here. I don't know if I've already said that, but we might have to change that. We've got the Holly one we can use. Anyway, these are all brand new pipes. I'm thinking let's put the fuel tank in, because I've got nothing else to do. And once the fuel tank's in, I've ordered a brand new exhaust for it as well. So when that comes, we'll put that in, but that'd be it for underneath until we take it for an MOT. And he says, oh, it wants all new brake bits, all new this, all new that. But until then, it would be the last thing underneath, which is really cool. So I'll get the gearbox jack, put the fuel tank on it, we'll send her up, try and connect everything up. This could potentially be a 2-minute job, this. What on earth possessed me to say that then? I don't know. It's going to turn into a nightmare now, isn't it? Anyway, pipes. I need to find the bolts, so I would need 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. This is what I got with the car. And there is 4 bolts that look the same, these ones. Okay, that's there. Ready to go. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That way. Don't drop it. Okay, pipe goes through that hole there. Oh my god, the pipe's going to be so much longer. Okay, well that's our first problem. The filler pipe is well too short. That's unfortunate, isn't it? What we're going to do there? Why did I buy such a short one? Don't go around any particular way. Can you tell me, because you can see better than me from there? Goes like that. Oh, I mean, there's probably no point connecting that because it definitely doesn't work. Why is that now too small as well? That should be exactly the right size. Oh yes, I'm working. Right, okay, now I can get to that quite easily. Oh, fuel tank in. That's exciting, isn't it? Fuel tank installed, all new pipages and cool items. We are thinkers, we are doers. Right, get this out, just sand those little bits on the other side, more stone chip on the other side, get the paint. I think that might be it for today. That'd be so cool though if this is in paint by the end of the day and the fuel tank's in. What amazing progress. Can we just take a moment to look at these wheels again? It's just gorgeous, look at it. I'm just so pleased with it, so nice. And this thing is looking amazing. Just looks the bee's knees. Solid as a rock, super protected, gonna last forever, and has saved me a million years on prep. But yeah, really, really smart. Dents disappeared. It's just great, isn't it? Happy days. I can't paint this now, it's going to be well too out. I'm going to leave it overnight. I'm going to have a massive tidy up because the place is just a real mess. So I'm going to tidy everything up, and then tomorrow I can come in and just paint straight onto that, and then that's it, job done. It's the morning and it's dried and it looks superb. It's like we've almost done here, you know, almost. The gloss is on and she is looking exceptionally glossy and it's beautiful. And this is the Suzuki 40. The colour is Suzuki 40. That's apparently what this colour is called. I couldn't find the Vauxhall equivalent, but I found the Suzuki one. But yeah, it's just majestic. I love it. I've also done a bit more in the arches just to get them the same nice white colour. So it's all going to look superb, you know, and last for a million years or 4 weeks. Anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Clark primer gun. This is my primer gun. I use this for sort of, I don't really take care of it because they're about 20 quid, 19.99 or something. And I get it from Machine Mart, and you just use it for a while, clean this bit, clean that bit, and then bin it and get a new one. However, I've had this one for a year or so now, and it just never misses. It never misses. It is just always... I'll just give you an idea of sort of how it comes out. I just did these little splotches, but, you know, not a massive fan on it, so not ideal if you're painting the whole van, which is why I use those other guns. But for stuff like this, where you're just trying to do a sort of local area, doing inside of bits and, you know, stuff like that, it is just perfect. These Air Gunzer ones up here, they're cool, and I'll use them to paint the rest of the van, but they're so temperamental. You've got to set them up really, spend ages each time doing it, you know, all that sort of stuff. They can be a pain in the arse. Whereas this one, you could literally, I don't know, just like, you know, use it as a wheel chock or something now until I need to use it again. Just pull it out, rinse it off with a bit of thinners and use it again, and it will still perform. It's so good. So yeah, anyway, right, bit of cleaning up to do and then demasking time. I'm just tidying up some of the overspray underneath just to make it look a little bit better, and I'm also painting things like the spare wheel carrier. But I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you the reason why people use paint guns, and it's mainly for the amount of sort of delivery. So that's the difference between a paint gun and a rattle can. A rattle can is just, that's gonna, don't, quick. So that's what you get from a rattle can, and you get a lot of run. It's just a centre sort of spray. You can buy different rattle cans and stuff, but the paint gun will just give a much more spread out, much nicer paint delivery and much more volume per area or something. I don't really know if that's what I'm talking about, but that's why that's why I use them anyway, you know, on jobs like this. I bet, like, when you first saw me doing this, you were like, what, you know, what's he doing? How's that going to look? He's getting overspray on everything. It's going to look awful. You know, what's he doing? You've got to trust the process. You've got to break some eggs to make an omelette. But this thing is now properly ready for the road. You know, this is a nice bit of kit now. It's going to last. Still, tons more to do on top and inside. However, all the hard work, apart from fitting an exhaust, is complete. The rest of it is just joyous jobs now. But all the big problems, do you remember how bad everything was? And now it's all super solid. It's going to last ages. Just a real treat of a car. Real nice bit of kit. You know? Nothing to worry about. Just a real nice van that I'm going to use to haul my merch around the UK. And just enjoy driving. Take it to, you know, home and back. It's a cool little thing. I'm very pleased with it, and I'm excited that that work is done. Stone chip on the bottom, definitely the right choice, because you can't even really tell because it's so far down. And that saved me a month of Sundays. Not looking forward to all this. There is just dents and stuff everywhere. It's fine. So here we are then. It's superb. I think the bottom of the van is glorious. Look how good it is compared to how it was. The interior, you know, is sort of back to spec. Still needs work, paint, you know, bit of filler, all sorts of stuff, but we are going to do that. Needs all these bits doing in here. There's still, you know, still plenty of work to do. This is totally normal. What I'm having to do is use the boat tank to pump fuel into the tank of the Rascal, because I can't get the fuel feed hose, you know, the metal bit. Can't find one anywhere. That's a problem. I don't really want to drive this thing on the road with a tank that, well, I can't sort of seal properly. I could maybe try and put a cap on it or something, but I haven't got anything, you know, that would work. Start Your Bastard 9000 is in, because the battery's dead. Now, that is the sound of the fuel pump, which is good. Are we going to hear it change tone if it draws any fuel in? Oh! It's now got fuel. It's now got fuel. Why is this not connected? Ah, reconnect, reconnect, reconnect. Okay. Now hopefully that should be going into the carburetor, and I can't see it pouring out. Can I hear it pouring out? Oh, God, it started well then, didn't it? That was the choke all the way out. A little bit of that. Nice, yeah. Oh, she runs well! Steady sort of stream of and puddles and drips of petrol. Just look at this one, and it's still dripping. Where is it dripping from? It's dripping from that pipe. It's a brand new one though. I replaced that. Maybe if I tightened it up. Got a little bit of petrol in my eye, but the I've tightened it up and it stopped leaking. Great. The Rascal, doesn't it drive well? Get in here then, and you get it through tiny little gaps. So good, so good. A little bit uncomfortable with that seat though. But anyway, I'm going to get it up in the air and get that exhaust sorted. Might wash my eye. Do you remember that scene in 28 Days Later? If you've watched that, where he looks up and the crow drops a drop of blood into his eye. It was like exactly like that. This brown one is the old exhaust. The silver one is the new exhaust. They are, as you can see, completely different. However, that's the silver one's the only one that's available. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to try it anyway. It's got the same sort of... This bit is kind of roughly similar. I don't know. It's just, it's not ideal, is it, at all? I'm going to try and fit it and see what happens. I think the bend's in the right place. Battery box is in the way. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Why is the battery box? It's annoying, it just doesn't fit. The battery box is in the way. So I I can take the battery box out, then where you're going to put the battery, it's got quite nice home there, it's good space saving, but it is definitely well too, there's just no other options. I can't do it. Was almost like 100 odd quid this exhaust as well, maybe 120 or something, I can't remember. What about if this bit of the exhaust on the original one is kind of okay, apart from that there, which I could probably sort of weld that up. I could then cut this exhaust here, because the back box is completely shot. I'm not repairing that again, it's completely gone, isn't it? I could put this back box on this exhaust, so I could cut this bit here, get rid of this bracket, and just sort of mount that directly to there. Frankenstein exhaust done. Looks pretty good. Roll on here, we go to this sort of big thing here, and yeah, all new back box, which is dead sound. This is a little bit too short, but I'm going to get one of those little chrome tailpipe things, which is going to be pretty good, isn't it? Look pretty smart. Great success. Got no fuel leaking. Apart from that sort of squeaky alternator, she sounds amazing. Sounds really, really good. A little bit smoky still, but just needs a good run. It's clearing up already. But that exhaust's working perfectly, which is really, really good news. What should we do now then? Let's have a little look at what we've got to deal with here. Okay. Okay, what's up with this paint, man? That's got all sorts of, look at that. It's quite lengthy strands of grass. So what kind of species is this? Okay, what's it look like up there? That's alright, that's alright. Look at these things. Oh, how much to eat that on camera? So that headlight looks okay, and that headlight looks like all the chrome's dissolved behind it, which is a bit of a shame. So it kind of looks like it's got a black eye. So this is the side that was up against the tree, or whatever. That's what we can work out. This is very, very green, very mossy. And we've got quite similar sort of rust action there. That looks like where you put the petrol in. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, there's a bit of rust, isn't there? So we are in agreement that there is a bit of rust. Nice, yeah. It's nice B, established 1910. Possibly something to do with its heritage. Don't worry too much Don't worry too much about those bits, that's fine. And these as well, yeah, don't you worry too much. If this side's as good, we're going to be in, you know... Oh, oh my God. Look at this, this is scabby Abby. Jesus. Whoa! It's fairly solid there, isn't it? What's this cable? And look, there's a hole there, look. That's when you're going down the M56 at night and you need to relieve yourself. You just shimmy forward in the seat, move this back and just drain it straight out onto the road, you know, like a canal boat does. I've put the seat in, I've put the throttle pedal in. She's running like a dream. We've got a problem though. Flakes just go to the floor and there's no fluid in. I don't remember any fluid leaking or anything. I don't know what's happened. I'm going to put some fluid in and see if it starts pouring out from anywhere, but I'm sure all the pipes and stuff are good. I've not noticed any puddles. Weird. I found out where the leaky brake pipe is. And it couldn't be any less fun. So it's that one there, which was absolutely fine. It's in mint order, but I don't know if I've nicked it or something. You can see that bit of brake fluid there, but it's just on that connection there. I mean, when it's held in with a clip, that's where they tend to rust, but it's a bit of a pain because that goes all the way along here, down here, all the way along there and up into the cabin somewhere. That is annoying though, isn't it? Let's take it for a spin around the yard, because I think it's like track day rules apply here or something. I don't know. It's loud without that seating, isn't it? It's so loud in here. Should have put that other seat in. Got no sound deadening or anything. But she's driving beautifully. Really, you know, just solid. It feels better with all that welding done. It doesn't feel like anything's moving. Engine's got plenty of power, gearbox, clutch, all fine. That's really noisy. I'm going to have a look at that. I think it's the alternator. In terms of the fuel filler neck, I've found something that might work. That is a fuel filler neck off a Vauxhall Aguila, which is a Suzuki Wagon-R. Suzuki Carry, I think it's the same neck type, and it's 35 quid, so I'm willing to take a chance. If it isn't, I can probably modify it anyway. So I'm going to get that, and then that'll be the fuel filler sort of system sorted. So fingers crossed that's going to work. Progress so far though, don't know about you, but I think it's been pretty immense. Really, really pleased. Annoyed about that brake pipe though, that sort of stopped me in tracks. So I was hoping to get this down for a test and get a list of stuff, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go through it myself. I'm going to do a big, so for the rest of today I'm just going to get stuck into writing a big parts list of what I need to buy now for this, because there's a fair bit. The interior needs a good sort of paint and a bit of a seal in before I start paneling everything out, which is going to be fun. Looking forward to that. Everything else, I've got to start stripping it down, ready for paint. There's still a lot more to do. But we've made excellent progress, we really have. And that's going to be it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. It's been a lot of fun. I think that's going to be it for this episode. We've done so much. This van is it halfway? I don't think it's, I think no, probably is halfway, I would say. Hopefully get this thing painted in the next episode. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But I think it's come a long way. I think it's done really, really well. I hope you've enjoyed watching this come back to life. And look how well it drove then. I've got to sort some stuff out with the engine as well. I might get a new alternator for a few jobs like that. Just, you know, nice things to make it last, because this is going to be with me for a long time, this van. Long time. My merch hauler. Tasty Classics merch hauler. Cool thing, eh? But yeah, thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. That'd be dead sick. That'd be well cool if you could do that. And I'll see you next Friday, hopefully, for more on this. Bye.